Welcome to Podadelphia. My name is Dave Diorio. You can find me on Twitter at @fat_lobster, and I'm joined by a pair of balls to the face. What's up, Gene and Nico?
Yes, balls to the face.
You ran.
You knew I had to go there. You knew I had to go there for this one.
Yeah.
Balls
Thankfully, my wrists are intact.
Yeah. Gene, how can people find you?
My name is Gene Seelank. You can find me on Twitter at Producer Gene. You can find the show at Podadelphia.
And we have a very special guest tonight because Sarah is taking the evening off. We have Nick Algier joining us. What's up, Nico?
Oh, you can find me not on Twitter.
Good for you. That's probably a healthy choice you made there.
It's a very healthy choice. I'll never tweet. Never tweet. No, you know what? If you do want to see pictures of really cute kids or the occasional inspirational sunset picture, you can find me on Instagram. Handle in Algeria. People still use handles. Is it still referred to as a handle?
You have to jiggle the handle, I heard.
You might have to jiggle the handle in one. Yeah. So.
All right. Let's look. We've been doing this show for a few weeks now, and really, we just basically disregard the Eagles. So we had to start this episode with the Eagles. I have my Eagles hat on in the midst of baseball season, but we had the draft this week. Let's just start with round one and the move up to kind of snake Devontae Smith away from the Giants with making a deal with the devil with Jerry Jones. What was your reaction to this on draft night? Nico, start us off.
I don't know. I'm really pleased with the pick. I think it gets a firm fist bump, not like a weak haphazard, passive aggressive, don't touch me fist bump. Like it's a strong fist bump. I think it was the player that we had our eyes on all along. I think, other than grabbing a cornerback.
Yeah.
But you're asking me. We moved back. I was pissed off about that because I kind of wanted to stay at 6. But then again, as things kind of shaked out and all the quarterback needy teams exposed themselves, it was the right move to move back. Was it the right move to have to give up a 3rd round pick to jump up ahead of the Giants to grab Devonta Smith? Yeah, I think that was the right move, although it's really kind of seems like lambs that we did have to give up that pick. All in all, I'll take it. I think it's a solid move. And if he is or ends up being anything close to the comparisons that he's had to Marvin Harrison, everybody's saying, oh, he's like Marvin Harrison. I will take that 100 times.
Yeah, absolutely. Gene, do you feel like round one kind of played out perfectly?
Well, I don't remember a year that I've seen so many mock drafts. You know what I mean? It just felt like this was the year of the mock draft. No matter where you went, everybody had a mock draft. And not only like one mock draft, but some guys were on like version 8.0, 9.0, 10.0. So in a way, and for some reason, I just really dove into trying to like sort of see how, it was going to play out. I don't follow college football religiously, but I usually have some idea of like who the, like top 15, top 20 guys, usually who the best at each, of the major positions are. I wanted to get one of those top end cornerbacks because I think that at least the top 3 guys are sort of like, they're going to walk in and they're going to start wherever they're going to be. And I'd love to have like Slay on one side and another starting cornerback. I think that makes your defense that much better. But aside from that, if you can get a guy who could sort of be the difference maker that Devontae Smith might possibly be, and you get to sort of give a middle finger to the Giants via the Cowboys in a weird way, all the better. Dallas at that spot could sort of see like our guy, they wanted that linebacker. Our guy is going to be there. The Eagles want a wide receiver. The Giants clearly, the worst kept secret in the draft was that they wanted Devontae Smith. So they were licking their chops. So Dallas is like, hey, sort of get the screw the Giants and get a third-round pick out of the Eagles, to them it was sort of a no-brainer because they were going to get the guy they were going to draft anyway.
So is it bad form? So if you're the Cowboys, right, and you get the call from the Eagles, hey, we want to move up. What do you think? A third round, swap first round as a third. Do the Cowboys ever go knowing full well that the Giants also want this player? I mean, is it bad form? Is it not like? Would you think they would call them and say, hey, we got this offer. Can you beat it? I mean, I'm actually surprised that the Giants didn't play a little.
The Giants want to move one spot?
No, well, I know because they're in a weird position, right? Like you wouldn't think you would have to move up one spot in the draft if you know the team drafting ahead of you it has different needs than you do. But they had to have seen this coming, right? Like the Eagles had so many draft picks. If they valued the same player, they should have seen something like this coming.
I just feel like that they didn't believe that the Eagles. Yeah.
No way.
No, I didn't even know that the phone lines between Philadelphia and Dallas would even connect. I didn't even know there was a phone line there. I didn't even know that there would have been an open line of communication there at all, especially considering after last year's draft when they took, everybody was like, Eagles are going to grab CeeDee Lamb, and then like Cowboys scooped him up like a couple picks earlier, and they were like cheering. Remember Jerry Jones? He was like sitting there on a couch with some young woman, and
and then like even like 3 years before with Dallas Goedert. Yeah, you make a good point.
Same thing. We still.
Yeah. I do think that you sort of forget.
Eagles and the Cowboys were in cahoots for a trade. Who am I?
Well, I think you sort of, if you're in Dallas's position, I don't think that the Giants were going to call. And I think that there's no way that they were going to give up a third round pick to move up one spot. So I think Dallas looked at it as we're going to have to face this kid in the division either way.
You don't think they would have? You don't think the Giants would have?
I don't think.
I mean, by all accounts, their draft was just like a disaster after that.
Yeah, well, I just don't think that. I think they probably should have if that was really the plan. But if you get this phone call from Dallas's camp that says we've been offered a third round pick for our slot, because if you're Dallas, you're not going to say it's the Eagles, right? Or maybe you do. Or you match it. The Giants are going to tell you to fuck off. So then and maybe we don't know that they didn't do that. I mean, I guess, but the whole, I've always wanted to have sort of the inside scoop on how these things go down. Like I literally want to have NFL Films do a 10-part series.
I have the solution.
What's that?
I have a solution. Next
what is
year, we make them all draft together in the same room. Everybody, Howie, like by divisions. So
so it's like a tribal council situation where like you see everyone talking to everyone else.
Exactly, but I'm not talking like one of these like theaters where like they're on one side. No, I'm talking like a nice small room, like a garage, like a 20 by 20. Shove them all in there.
Could you host this in your garage?
Draft. Then we'll see what's cracking.
Could you host this in your garage?
I bet you I could fit the NFC East in here. It's a one car. I'd have to move some of my daughter's bikes out to the driveway, but I think I could make it work. Yeah, I can make it work.
Nice. So I mean, well, our little chat group went nuts when you were watching because I was watching like my wife had something on the TV. I was watching this like on my phone unfold, and then as actually Handmaid's Tale. Thank you. And as soon as I saw like the Eagles were now on like Dallas is on the clock, and then it was replaced with the Eagles, it was like, what the heck is going on? Like run in the other room, turn the TV on. What is happening? Mm-hmm. And like Howie was kind of scaring me because I thought he was going to go quarterback there. So all right,
yes,
Devontae fist bumps. Philadelphia is all fist bumping, and you see all the reaction videos online of Eagles fans just like absolutely losing their minds. Everyone's super excited. And that was a good. I feel like it went perfectly. Like you got like probably going into the draft, I think that they were targeting those cornerbacks by all accounts. There's even Howie said he called like the Broncos and who was the other one that took it? It was the Lions.
Lions.
Yeah, to see if they could move up to those spots to get one of those corners.
Yes.
But I don't think it was
Surtain.
too outrageous to say they
yeah.
could have taken Smith even at 6.
Right.
So I think everything worked out
It's a
great.
capital, but then he gave up that
when the
third
Eagles
round
had the
pick.
6th pick, taking Smith at 6.
Right.
You know, that's that third round pick, though. That's the one that's the straight air that like really gets me, though. Like if that went to the Broncos or somebody, I could care less. Just the fact that like the Cowboys were able to still get their guy, Micah Parsons, and get the Eagles' third round pick. Like we gave them a little bit of capital for it. It still kind of pisses me off.
Yeah, well, like my mom says, worry about yourself.
But in a vacuum,
Yes,
I mean, you can look at the way the Eagles sort of worked it out that you end up picking up an extra first-round pick next year. So you're going to have 2 first-round picks next year, possibly. Or you have a ammunition.
Well, we have 3 first-round picks next year, right?
We have 3
if the Indy pick conveys, Carson's got to pay 75% of snaps, and if they get to the playoffs, then it conveys the first-round pick, right?
Yep.
Oh wow!
And if they get to the playoffs, you know, probably like a pick 20 or something like that. You know what I mean? So like,
but still, scenario, I mean, you're gonna get 3 guys in the top 30.
Would it also count if Carson gets 75% of bone and spine snaps?
No, it doesn't convey. Then I think it's a second-round pick. If he gets injured, it turns into a second-round pick.
Right. I just want a clarification because technically,
there's
still
your
snaps.
clarification.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, we're gonna be the biggest, and we're gonna have to convert this podcast to an Indianapolis Colts podcast for about 4 months.
This is going to be the "Come on, Carson, do just enough" podcast.
Yeah, we're gonna be really hopeful that he plays well.
All right, so round 2 with the 37th pick, Landon Dickerson, and mixed feelings.
I like the pick. I liked the pick until I read about the pick a little bit more, and I was like, "Oh, great ACL!" I just read ACL, and I was like, "Awesome! That got a weak fist bump from me." In a vacuum,
I mean, like, you know, with
the
300,
minute that you put ACL next to a lineman's name, especially at that age, forget about it. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, a 350-pound man with like knee and ankle problems, it's a perfect recipe. Did Bamboo Brad just go yard?
Oh, but he's a great leader. He's a great leader.
I mean, I hope it works out, but I don't know. I'm nervous.
Howie was all about like this was a risk we were willing to take. I mean, I guess the game plan is that this kid's not going to play. I don't love the idea that you've got a second-round pick that you're shelving. We've been down that road before.
Yeah, Sidney Jones.
Right. So, you know, I get it. Like you are okay at center and guard right now, but if you remember last year, I mean, if you watch an Eagles game, they reminded you that every week it was now the 11th starting combination of linemen that we started.
So he's not going to play guard or anything like that, right?
Well, I think he will because the way that the things happen, but I think that ideally, if in a perfect world, they wouldn't need him to play. They'd like to have him just spend because he had that injury. Not only did he have it last season, but late in the season. Like he got it, like I think during the championship game, or maybe it was.
So you'll have a line. You'll have a line ideally that looks something like.
What is that line?
So it would be what?
Johnson,
Mailata, Brooks, Kelsey, Dickerson, and then Lane Johnson.
You don't think Dillard is the left tackle?
Johnson.
No.
You think it's Mailata here?
Yeah.
Not at all. And I'll tell you what, Mailata he came on last year too, and I think he made a believer. And I think he might be one of the main reasons why Jeff Statland signed on for another year and for a brand new coaching staff too. The fact that we were able to retain him as our offensive line coach is massive, and it speaks volumes to the talent, if healthy, that line still has. So,
well, that would be great because Mailata was what?
That's his project.
I think he was like a 6th round pick. He was a late round guy. Mailata.
Was he even drafted? Was he even drafted?
Football until 3 years ago.
I think he was. I think he was drafted, but he was like a 6th or 7th round guy, and he was a rugby player. Obviously,
he's like 7th round guy, like Mr. Irrelevant.
I think we drafted a guy in the 1st round once who was a fireman who I never played for us. You know, So to get a rugby player that might end up being your starting left tackle in the 6th round, that's pretty damn good.
Yeah. So Howie says, I know a lot of
his.
Go ahead, Nico.
No. I was just gonna say if you haven't yet seen his rugby highlight reel, Jordan Mailata, before he got drafted to the NFL, do yourself a favor after this broadcast, of course, not during it, after. Go to YouTube, Google that, and watch him absolutely destroy people. It's unbelievable. It's incredible.
Yeah, Howie said that he, a lot of people weren't thrilled with some of the picks after the first round, but we won a championship with drafting through the line, and that's how we're going to win another one. But I just think that the Eagles' complete disregard for the linebacker position is somewhat disturbing. I know we ended up getting a linebacker, I think in round 7.
He's a hybrid linebacker safety.
Yeah. Let's see. Rufus says there's no way this kid doesn't start at least half the games at guard. Then we'll be the starting center for years. It's about time they finally acknowledge that Kelsey ain't good anymore.
I definitely
think fired at Kelsey.
I definitely think that Kelsey might be on the downside of his career. Yeah. I don't know if I would say that he's not good anymore.
Well, he does have an expiration date. I mean, we do have to we do have to recognize he's not going to play forever. I mean, and it's an important position.
Yeah, but that was disrespectful. Come on, Rufus. Get it together. No, I'm sorry. Jason Kelsey is an ambassador to Philadelphia.
Jason Kelsey wasn't good anymore.
Until he breathes his last breath. So if you are going to be critical of Jason Kelsey, do it in a way that is respectful. That was disrespectful. Rufus, have a seat, please. In the back of the
room. All right, round 4.
And if his knees hold up, let's hope so. That's best case scenario.
Yeah, round 4, because we traded away our 3rd round pick to the Cowboys. Zach McPherson.
Is that the
Can we
the
just
tackle?
call him Zach?
Cornerback. Dude, it's Zach.
That's how he pronounces. He says Zach.
I know it's Zach.
Oh, he does?
Yeah, Zach Berman said, hey, how do I pronounce your name? And he said Zach, which I thought Zach Berman should come back with, oh, yeah, me too. But he didn't. He missed his opportunity.
All right, well, then
I don't want to be mispronouncing people's names. Apologies to Alshon Jeffries.
Deep with a U. Good one. Apologies to Alshon. Come on.
All right, so Zach McPherson, cornerback.
Just call me Nick with a D. Nick with a D.
And then they go running back with Kenneth Gainwell in round 5. And then round 6, Marlon
Smallwood to me.
Tui Pelotu.
Is that the other tackle? We got 2 D tackles.
Yeah,
right?
Edge rush with not enough bend.
So, I mean, look.
The other pick, a lot of people were excited about.
The team is Swiss cheese. The team is Swiss cheese. We can argue about, did you fill the right holes in the cheese? But no matter how you did this, you only have so many picks. And are even all these guys going to play? No, you can't fill everything through the draft. So we're going to see what happens again.
Yeah, but come on, cornerback.
You're going to have to put
left.
Honestly, I think they should trade Darius Slay.
Yeah, absolutely. Or trade one of those first round picks. Who knows? Maybe Ertz in a 2nd round pick or something like that's going to go and turn into a cornerback. But I really thought that they were going to address cornerback in this draft, and they didn't. That's the biggest hole of the Swiss cheese that I'm seeing.
Were you guys surprised that Zach Ertz is still on the team after the draft?
Kind of.
Yeah, I kind of thought when they traded that 3rd pick out, I kind of thought they might use him to trade back into the 3rd round. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that would have been not a bad get for Zach Ertz if you could have gotten like a mid 3rd round pick. I mean, there's still a lot of talented guys that were there in that area, and there are definitely teams that need tight ends.
Oh my God, is David Hale in this baseball game?
That's never good.
Sorry, I mean, like if you're watching along with us, please turn on the Phillies and writhe in frustration along with us if you want. But well, I think Girardi's going out again. Phillies are up 6-2 right now in the seventh. But David Hale's doing his best to give this away. All right, so which pick was the awkward fist bump situation?
It was the Milton, that one.
The Marlon Tui Pelotu.
No. It was that. He's a defensive tackle. Milton.
Patrick Johnson.
Somebody Google it real quick. Nope.
Yeah, I'm trying to look. Smith, Dickerson, McPherson, Gainwell, Tui Pelotu, and Johnson. I don't know, but whatever it was, I mean, I don't know. Is it a bad look? Do we care? Is it important to anyone?
I guess Nico doesn't care.
It's important to me.
Well, why?
Why? Am I gone?
Yeah. Did you put your thumb over the lens? Bye, Nico. We lost you.
I mean, it got a lot of press. I don't think it's not really that important to me. I'm sure like these disagreements happen all the time. It's just annoying to me because there is so much chatter about like they don't listen to their scouts.
Well,
right?
I was seeing today how he came out and sort of said like, it's my job to go to all of the departments and sort of take all of the data and then ultimately make the decision. I like the premise that there is somebody who is, as we've heard in the past, like that is the decider. But it's just one of those things where Howie's sort of in this position where he's damned if he does and he's damned if he doesn't. And not that I'm the biggest Howie Roseman fan in the entire world, but I've never seen him not look awkward basically doing anything. So the fact that he would look awkward in doing his like for his biggest day of the year doesn't surprise me. But I don't know. I mean, what is your thought? Do you think that there are true fracturing in that room to the point where they're not, they're never going to be able to like sort of get along to get things done?
Oh no, I'm sure they'll always be able to get along to get things done. I think it was just like a moment where like two guys definitely didn't agree, and the weasel of the two guys was like, "Come on, man, let's be friends." And he was like, "Yeah, whatever, get out of here."
Yeah, that's where I'm at with it too. But I mean, that's sort of a balanced, rational approach to it, which this fan base doesn't always have. Like I said, there's all this. I mean, what was the article in the Atlantic or something or the Athletic that said how he doesn't listen to scouts and they only pay attention to analytics and they do their own thing anyway. So, it's just a bad look at it, and it's bad timing for it too.
Do you think?
And it's funny to think in the draft room you have to worry about optics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think that Howie doesn't listen to scouts because he thinks he knows more than they do?
Yes. I mean, like, do you doubt for a second that Howie doesn't think he's smarter than every single person that he ever comes in contact with?
Well,
No,
I'm sure he
don't.
does.
Okay.
I think he does.
It's like, why do you even have a scouting department then? You know what I mean? Like, why hasn't he just, if you're not going to listen to them, like, especially of all days draft day.
I don't know. Maybe he thinks if you're so smart, maybe you should be the general manager of the football team.
Well, yeah, he probably does think that. I just worry because I keep hearing these stories now where Jeffrey Lurie has sort of got that sort of same mindset where when people talk to him, he really goes on and on and on about the style of football that he wants to watch. And unfortunately, I don't know that. I think I'd rather have the style of football that wins games rather than the style of football that entertains Jeffrey Lurie. I hope that those two things would agree, but if they don't, I'd prefer boring and winning over greatest show on turf and 6-10 or 7-10 now.
Yeah.
I prefer owners not meddling in the day-to-day operations of player personnel. Personally, I get it. You're investing a lot of money into it. I get it. You're the owner,
man.
but I kind of would rather. Was Jeffrey Lurie always this hands-on when it came to like roster construction and influence?
We don't
from an
know.
owner?
I mean, I don't know. I
It
guess he
didn't always
wasn't with
seem
Chip.
that way, but they're certainly painting that picture now.
Yeah, I mean, he certainly wasn't with Chip, I wouldn't think.
Yeah. And it didn't feel that way or
Yeah.
projected. What are you laughing at?
I'm laughing at you.
Oh, you're laughing at,
Yeah.
Is what I'm saying funny? This is a very serious conversation here. This is a sad situation. I think Jeffrey Lurie needs to stay up in the owner's box. Jeffrey Lurie needs to stay in the owner's box, look handsome with his little curly white coif. Enjoy yourself. And
all I got to say is if I own the football team, I'm going to have something to say about it.
All right.
No?
Yeah, you know what? I feel like he's like venturing into like Jerry Jones territory and just getting too hands-on as an owner, and you just get annoying. You're rebranding the Eagles into like Jeffrey Lurie's Eagles, Jerry Jones's Cowboys. Let the Eagles be the Eagles, and you can be the owner. Just kind of like take a step back and let the organization run the show.
Look, bring back
Instead
Kelly
of being
Green.
the
You can do
owner
whatever
that
you
wants
want.
to call the shots.
I think if you bring back Kelly Green, you'll get a free season.
He hates it. Jeffrey Lurie has been on record of being like not a huge fan.
He's a pain in the ass. All right, let's move on to the Phillies. Wow, what a week. What a week. I mean, we have a whole show in the archives called The Unwritten Rules of Baseball, it really came into play this week when Bryce Harper gets a 97-mile-per-hour fastball to the
dome.
Right to the face.
to the visage, and just like an absolute boss just gets the hell up like nothing, and then goes out for the next 2 games for not even that reason. Is pretty wild. And then Gregorius gets, I mean, this has been discussed to death at this point. I think we all agree that the umpires, which have just been absolutely terrible all season long this year, should have, at that point, like, you choose to intervene in so many games, in so many high pressure situations. Why not choose to intervene at this point and eject a pitcher who is just he's not safe to be in the game? And then the Phillies, I think, handle it. I was, thought maybe somebody would have an opinion. And then the Phillies the next day have a lot of pressure on them to either, how are they going to respond to the situation? It's the last time you're playing this team for the season. They've just had this type of altercation with the Reds, a couple of weeks before. How do you handle it? I think they handled it. I mean, in my opinion, they handled it perfectly. 2 outs in the 9th. They pegged Arenado. Arenado goes to first. It's over. It's done with. That's the proper way to police the game. Now, if Arenado charged the mound or something like that, that would take it to a whole nother level. But I think that the game was policed by the players appropriately in this situation.
Now, are you surprised that the umpire didn't toss Neris right then and there? Or was it at least?
Well, no, because there was no warning in the game. I'm actually surprised that the umpires
didn't start the game with a warning.
Right. They, as far as I know, they didn't issue warnings at the beginning of the game, which is actually one thing the umpires did right in this game, and throughout this kind of process, because it allowed for the policing of the game by the players themselves.
Well, maybe each team had a little powwow in the clubhouse before the game to kind of iron things out. No funny business, guys. No funny business. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Do you think that this is the kind of thing that needs to be banished out of baseball? Do you think that?
No
way.
No. I mean, how keyed into that game were you on a Wednesday afternoon? More so than you would have been if, nothing had happened the day before. Right, I'm not saying I want to watch to see somebody get hit with a baseball, but
you're kind of when and where is it going to happen?
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
What happened?
Well,
David
guys,
Hale?
I know
It's
we've
6-5 with 2 outs in the 7th.
been
hailstorm. That's a hailstorm.
I want to just sort of give you a little context as to what's going on in the Phillies game. We've been doing the show, and it might not have registered with us. I don't have the game on here, so I don't know if you picked up on this. But a friend of the show, my friend Brett, texted me and asked, how does Cataldi talk about this lineup card thing tomorrow? So I didn't know what he was talking about. So I asked him, and he said the Phillies apparently right now turned in the wrong lineup card and couldn't put in De Los Santos. So instead, they had to put in David Hale. And I think this is what we are seeing happen. So
yeah, Jojo Romero is in right now, by the way.
What you're seeing, what are your thoughts on that bonehead mistake by the manager?
Well, Girardi has not been on a hot streak lately. With what he miscalculated his mound visits one game. I don't know. Some of the decisions have just been really sort of questionable. But yeah, if they go on to lose this game, that's a manager loss.
Yeah, that's not great. That's not great.
I'm not how many mound visits?
You get 5, I think, right?
Nonsense. You get 5. Well, what kind of old school baseball managers even keeping track of that crap?
It's on the scoreboard in the stadium.
Yeah.
I know, but I'm just saying it's ingrained in the soul, a certain way to play the game and manage the game. And now all of a sudden, all these like sissy fairy rules come in, the last couple of years. You got to do this. You got to do that. Time out. Let's review something. Get out of town. No
You're defending Girardi
so confused.
In this situation?
Yeah, I'm defending Girardi. Yeah, I'm defending him. Why not? Somebody's got to have his back.
I mean, I'm kind of questioning him at this point. If you can't get a lineup card straight, what was he trying to do? A double switch or something?
I'm not totally sure, but I assume if you've got to bring the lineup card out, you must have been trying to do.
Metallica's going to go nuts in this post-game show.
He's probably already going nuts. There's probably a dent in the desk from him slamming his fist out on the table in the studio.
Nico, talk about Avellardo. Avelaro?
No, Alvarado. Alvarado.
I can't do it. Bravado. I try it all the time.
Alvarado.
Halaputi Valley Vitae.
Halapaluti Vitae.
Halapaluti.
That was pretty good, Dave.
I was close.
Avellardo. Alvarado. It's the Alvarado.
Alvarado. Okay, got it.
The Alvarado Bravado. I'll tell you what, they need to have like a little camera in that tunnel and get those two to go after it again. You know what? You want MLB viewership to go up? I don't know. And then like nothing happened to anybody else. Like he must have hurled some pretty nasty insults.
Well, Dominic Smith got a fine.
Yeah,
he got a fine and a nice press conference to rebut. And did you hear anything from Alvarado? Nothing. What? Dominic Smith can go and sit in front of a bunch of reporters and be like, yeah, anytime, anywhere. I'm a grown-ass man. I'll meet you in the tunnel. He can throw all that kind of stuff out there in front of the press. Yeah. But then Alvarado's the one that gets the 3-game suspension. Suspend them both. You know what I mean?
He didn't hit anybody.
He's retroactively inciting the violence, and Alvarado's inciting the violence on the field. So whether you're doing it on the field or off the field, both of you should have been suspended for 3 games. And then we move on with our lives. And then, I don't know, peg somebody in the face the next time.
I like it. Let's go. Like, get fired up when you strike, between him and Coonrod, the immortal. The ever-living.
Thank you.
At the Cardinals guy, I mean, it's great. I love those guys. Oh, my God. Ruben Amaro Jr. is on the postgame show. I love those guys getting fired up. What's that?
I met Ruben once.
Did you?
In the Hall of Fame club. Yeah, you guys never saw that selfie?
Oh, yeah, I did. Me
and Rube?
That's a great picture.
Yeah. It's a great one.
The guy that does a lot of baseball and Ruben Amaro Jr.
Yeah.
Other Phillies
let's
stuff.
Let's just say there wasn't a line of people to try to get a selfie with Ruben Amaro. It was like me holding 6 sodas. And he's like, really? You want a picture? Yeah, sure.
It's guys like Jimmy Rollins in the booth.
Love him.
Whenever I see that Jimmy's going to be on, it becomes I got to watch the TV feed instead of listening to the radio call.
Yeah, I think he's good. I mean, I want him in there at the same time as Kruk. Is that possible?
I said the exact same thing. I said the only problem is I'm not sure that we would have, like, for those that are visually impaired, you would have no idea what's going on in the actual broadcast, in the actual game. Like it couldn't be for people that can't see the game. But it would be great as far as,
and you know what, that's fine.
Yeah, those guys should be listening to the radio anyway. It's better. So yeah, no, I would love to have that because they would just be talking. They just seem like they're two different leadership styles from two different eras of Phillies baseball. But man, they both bleed Phillies red, and I would just love to have them sort of banter off each other for a couple of innings.
So, yeah, I like Rollins' optimism matched to Kruk's curmudgeon. You know what I mean? But both of them with their fun. Like you said, Gene,
especially in one of those those games where Girardi's going off, or because Kruk speaks his mind for sure. He gets
fired up.
Yeah,
he gets fired up.
So Tim Kelly tweeted, obviously it's inexcusable for the Phillies not to have Aniel De Los Santos on the lineup card. It's still pretty lame for the Brewers to call them on a technicality. Not really.
No.
No, I
really.
think
When you're playing baseball,
I want somebody to call like that. That's why you have the lineup cards. Like, absolutely. And if you need to, whatever edge you can get to win a ball game, you got to use it. I don't think it's Bush League,
dude. Especially with these expanded playoffs, one game means so much more now than ever before.
Well, everybody is so bunched up in baseball right now. It's sort of been like a 500 league across the league. There's a couple of really good teams, but then everybody else is sort of in the middle. You know what I mean? The Phillies are a half game out of first.
I mean, what's the NL East?
The Marlins are only a game and a half back.
Yeah.
I think 2 games decides first and last place in the NL East right now. 2.5 games, something like that, right?
And we played each other the whole month.
Yep. I mean, I really think the Phillies just need to kind of I know everyone's frustrated with the win-loss, but I'm actually okay with treading water for now until the weather heats up. The balls start flying out of the park. All these guys are going to get hot, and I think we're actually going to have a pretty fun summer. And I think we're going to feast on the NL Central quite a bit. As the season progresses on.
I have faith in this bullpen too. I do have faith that this bullpen.
Well, we got to get Archie Bradley back. We got to get Archie Bradley back. But
I do have faith, and I really love the start that Zach Eflin's having this year. I think he really solidifies that rotation, that third spot in the rotation.
How's David Robertson's rehab going, by the way?
I think he's still golfing in Aruba and getting paid.
David Robertson to me is like the Bynum of the Phillies.
The great
he was going to be like a great.
I think David Robertson. Oh, David.
I thought he was going to be a great closer. It's like we never even saw him.
For all we know, David Robinson can be like the third base coach for the Mariners. I mean, that guy's he's in nowhere land.
Roman Quinn today got injured. Did you see that?
That might be the best place for Roman Quinn. You know what I mean? Everybody,
4-game hitting streak,
dude, man. Yeah. Okay. So here's a good one, guys. So what do you guys think we should do? Do you think that once Hazley comes back, if he ever does come back, do you think we keep him on the bench? Do we move Nicky Matan out there into center field just to keep his bat in the lineup?
I don't know, man. I feel like if Matan is that how we're pronouncing it?
I thought it was Maton.
Maton. I know we've had this discussion
Nicky
before. I think if he could play center field, he would have been playing center field.
Can we just call him Nicky?
Yeah. Come on, Nick.
Nicky.
Yeah, I think Nicky. I think if he could play center field, he would have been playing center field. By now. Maybe he could play left field, but it looks like McCutchen is kind of heating up now.
Yeah, McCutchen is sort of figuring it out, which is what I've sort of been hoping would happen. You know what I mean?
Tarias is down in the minors now. Oh, hey, shout out to the minor leagues who started play again.
Yeah, we're getting
Phillies and the
baseball
Iron
back
Pigs.
in Wilmington in a few weeks. I'm excited.
Some
I mean,
depth
it's only
in the
we're down to 4 minor league teams, but it's good that they're back playing. And Gene Segura is hitting leadoff today at the for the Iron Pigs in a
nice.
rehab assignment. So it's nice to see those rehab assignments too back into effect. But yeah, I don't
back to that outfield.
Well, he could take Tarias' spot for all I care on the bench and be like our utility infielder.
Well, I like having the center field back too.
It just doesn't solve center field, which is still going to be an issue.
And try it out like Ogilvy from the Bad News Bears. Get him out there. Give him a shot.
The only thing that's going to solve center field is probably a trade. I don't know if you pull the trigger on that soon or if you wait closer to the deadline. I don't know who's available.
So far, 1 week in, the Odubel juice isn't worth the squeeze.
No, it's not.
Get lost, Halls.
Out.
Yeah.
Beat it. Kick rocks. I mean, the guy's not hitting, so isn't that a good enough baseball reason to cut him at this point?
Yeah. Wasn't that the point?
Baseball reason?
Wasn't that the point?
Yeah, like he's not only not hitting, he's worse than Moniak. I don't think at least Moniak hit one out.
Yeah, and let me just say this:
really wanted him to succeed.
Moniak, right?
Yeah, of course.
But bro's 22. I think he still has a chance.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope so. But I really wanted him to come on this year and just kind of like answer the question. You know what I mean? But here we are again, still in that limbo.
I know. It was up for like there were 5 guys who could have just been like, yeah, I'll take it.
And none of them did.
But I still think at this junction right now, I think Quinn is the best option.
Because you want the defense in center field, correct?
Well, I want the defense and I want the disruptiveness of him on the base paths because he really does.
On the base paths, yeah.
When he gets on base, he is like an impact player. It's just getting him on to the base is the issue.
Bunt singles, baby. Bunt singles.
Hitting.
Bunt signal.
Lead with the knob of the bat.
Pop. Yep. Choke up a little bit. A little league.
2 strikes, choke up. Got to protect.
Choke up a little bit. Mm-hmm. Gene, your thoughts?
I choked up all the time. My strategy was to just try and make myself not swing at the high ones. I was one of those ones that like the high ones.
I was so enamored with the 93 Phillies when I was like in Little League and stuff that I would Kruk style. I would hold the knob. Not only would I not choke up Stalker style, I would hold the knob of the bat to try to get as low as possible, like Krucker style.
Mm.
That's
I'm
bad
looking
form.
for a bat right now. We're live. I think I did a lot of Lenny Dykstra.
Give me a tutorial.
Kind of held the bat out.
Yeah.
Let me see here if I can. All right, out of the way here. So I used to hold it out like this, and then kind of bend my knees a little bit, and then bend them again a little bit, and then bend them a little bit.
Were you the kind of Dykstra did this thing when the ball came? If it was even a little bit high, he would scrunch down lower.
Yeah,
I think to try to. Were you that kind of guy?
Oh yeah.
Okay, good. You got to get every advantage. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, but then again, I was wearing rec specs at the time, so it canceled out all that crap. So, I'd be up there trying to do my tough guy thing, and I'd look like Chris Sabo.
That's the second Chris Sabo reference this year
onto this show. Stop with Chris Sabo.
Chris Sabo.
Maybe
I should get a Chris Sabo jersey.
All right, let's talk some Sixers hoops.
I'll tell you what, these non-alcoholic beers are going down smooth.
I bet they are. Let's talk Sixers for the last 15 minutes. Back in first place in the East.
Without the decimal point. That's what I'm talking about.
Hashtag eat shit Mets, right?
That half game. Meat shit Mets. Eat shit, Mets. Eat shit, Mets.
Oh my God.
What's the score of the Phillies game? Any update?
Well, it's still the same. I don't think the score's changed, but I don't know if it just happened or not, but this Hoskins hit a double and got tagged out at second. All right, so we're at the top of the sixth now. Philly's still clinging on to a 1-run lead, 6-5. JoJo Romero's still on the bump. How's the Union doing?
Last I looked, there was no score.
Well, they were losing 1-0 at the half.
Yeah, but that's okay.
I know they gotta win by, or they gotta not lose by 3. So I'm sure they're fine. All right, Sixers. Let's go back to the Sixers. What a difference this team is with Ben Simmons in the lineup and not. Like, I'm so sick of people calling radio shows and tweeting and blogging about like how crappy Ben Simmons is. Like, you don't know what you're talking about. Like, just watch the damn game. It's like a completely different team when he plays.
What if he doesn't score 25 points a game?
I don't care how much he scores.
Like, that's not what his game's about. But idiots calling into those radio stations, they're only looking at that one stat. They're not looking at all the intangibles that he does. You know, they're not thinking about the defense that you and I are aware of. That he's just, he's a matchup nightmare.
And again, like, this is part of the problem with fantasy sports and what it's done to like how we evaluate talent on professional sports teams. It's like ridiculous. He's not getting triple doubles. Like, you know what I mean? Like, whatever, man. Like, look at the performance of the people that he guards. It's stunning. It is stunning. And he's going to win Defensive Player of the Year. He's going to win Defensive Player of the Year.
Well, I mean, he can guard 1 through 5. So he'll do this. He'll do that to Kemba Walker, and he'll do the same thing to a power forward. You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing that's pretty amazing about Ben Simmons is that there really isn't a top guy on your team that he can't cause havoc for. And what really the key is he also allows Thibault to be a lot more of a gambler. And when you've got Ben Simmons and certainly the eraser at center that Joel Embiid can be when he's really on his game, you can let a guy like Thibault go out and create a lot more turnovers. It really does show you how important those 3 pieces are to this team. The other guys all sort of have their own roles that they play, and they can be, okay defenders, but really those are the 3 guys that are the keys to you winning basketball games.
Well, it does get a little bit stumbly when Simmons and Thibault are on the court at the same time. I think you do lose a bit offensively when that pairing is on the court at the same time. But man, I mean, like what two? I mean, like, such interesting guys, like those 2 guys. They're so unique that I just don't know really how you account for that. I mean, it's going to be, look, when we play the Nets in the Eastern Conference Finals, it's going to be fascinating how, because these 2 teams might as well have not have played at all this year, because neither team has seen the other have its best stuff. And I think that when you walk into that game, the Sixers are going to have a better. The Nets have only played
together with that big 3 for like 7 games.
I know, but I think the Sixers are going to have a better idea of what the Nets are going to bring to the table than the Nets are going to understand what the Sixers are going to do to counter what they do well, if that makes sense.
Because the Sixers have played over almost 30 games together with their core, whereas the Nets have played, like 8? No, I'm serious.
And I still don't know who the Nets have
with James Harden, Kevin Durant, and Kyrie on the floor.
Has it even been 8 games?
I think it's 7 or 8 games. It's single digits, dude. No, granted, the Sixers, I think it's like 25, 26 games when they've had Ben, Tobias, and Joel on the court at the same time. But, when it's talking about the Nets, like, I totally agree with your point. The Sixers are going to know a lot more about how they want to play the Nets than the Nets are going to know how to play the Sixers, because those three guys, it seems like they're just kind of like waffling through the regular season. They're only going to turn it on during the playoffs. And that's when I think a sneaky little 7 or 8 seed, New York Knicks, they may play spoiler and stretch that team out and wear them down in the first round. I don't believe in the Nets.
Well, the Bucks took care of them the other day. Now, granted, they weren't at full strength, but that's the luxury of if we can hang on to this 1 seed. There's still a lot of games left, but this is the time of year that I kind of hate watching NBA basketball because there's so many teams that are racing to the bottom now. I was actually kind of like, well, what's going to happen with this Bulls game? It's a back-to-back, Vucevic and Levine. And it's like, oh, yeah, they're not playing anybody. Nobody's playing now this time of year. It's like Trae Young's not playing. Like, no one's playing. And this is like championship week of fantasy basketball, too. And, like, no stars are playing. It's terrific. It's great. It's great for the sport. But I am really looking forward to the play-in tournament.
Well, LeBron is not looking forward to
it. He isn't because he's in it. He's going to be in it, so he doesn't like it. But I'm really excited by that. I'm like, can we just skip the rest of the regular season and just how many games do we have left? Like 12?
Yeah, I think it's like 11 or 12. So
are there any
something like that?
Wait, before we get too far afield from the playoff tree, do you want the easier road, or do you think that having the Sixers have the 2 seed and face a challenge early in the playoff run keeps them sharp for the Eastern Conference Finals? Do you want them to take the
easy road
path?
Whatever's going to keep us at home as much as possible.
Okay, so there's 7 games left, all right? Rockets, Pelicans, Pistons, Pacers. That's a lot of P's. Heat, Magic.
We close with back-to-back against the Magic, or a home and home against the Magic?
Yeah.
Weird,
and there's because we're in this stretch of 5 games in 7 days. So Rockets tomorrow, Pelicans Friday, Pistons Saturday, and then we have one more after that. We have one more back-to-back, which is Heat next Thursday, and then Magic on Friday, and then Magic again. But both those Magic games are in Philly.
So what do you think the record? What you said? There's 7 games, right? You think we go 6-1, 6-2?
They might have to win all of them, to be honest.
7 games would be 5-2.
5-2.
But I'd like to take all of them.
And you think 5-2 will get us the number 1 seed?
I don't know what the Nets have on their plate, but
I'll tell you.
I think that you'd probably you can probably lose 1.
Like it matters. Like any of those guys are actually going to be playing. Clowns.
Okay. Let's see. Well, the Nets are losing right now with 1 minute to go in the fourth quarter against the Bucks.
How far down are they?
They're down 6 points with 105 left.
Well, I mean, watch out.
That's who I'm really concerned with.
Well, let me put that game on so we can kind of follow along here. But so they have the Bucks tonight, Mavericks, Nuggets, Bulls, Spurs, Bulls, Cavs. They're gonna run the table after this game. Don't you think?
So we sort of need them to drop this.
I think the Cavs can knock them. I think the Cavs can knock them off. They're a matchup nightmare for them.
Yeah. All right.
I think the Cavs played like good.
Milwaukee's up by 4 with 51 seconds left. So we'll see. We'll hang on here. We'll take you home with this game if you're following along. What else? Any other thoughts on the Sixers?
Do you think our bench is deep enough to support a championship run? Obviously our starting 5, but you think our bench is strong enough? Boy, what I was thinking about the other day. I caught the box score of the Phoenix Suns. I forget who they're playing, but love the Suns. Mikal Bridges is dropping like 13 a game. You know what I mean? How nice would it be to have him on our bench instead of Zaire Smith? Oh wait, Zaire Smith isn't even on our team. Man,
what is Zaire Smith doing these days?
He went to Detroit, I think.
Oh, I don't know. DoorDash.
To what? Build
Driving a
cars?
DoorDash.
Work for Ford?
Oh, I'm sure he's doing fine wherever Zaire is. But, what a great story that Mikal Bridges could have been. Mom works for the Sixers. Great draft, whatever.
Yeah.
And then they go and flip him for Zaire Smith, and we never even see him again. And now Bridges is dropping 13 a game on a contender. You know what I mean? It's like,
well, and that's what we all.
How nice would it have been
made,
to have him on the bench next door to Shake?
We all knew that was the kind of player that Bridges was going to be. And when they made the pick, we were all excited about it. The only people that didn't want him are apparently the guys that are working in the front office.
All right, looks like the Bucks are going to win this game. They're bleeding the clock right now. There's 10 seconds left. They're up by 6.
So what does that do to the standings? Does that put the Bucks like seriously within striking?
You get a decimal point there, Nico. We'll be a game and a half in first.
We go 1.5.
So yeah. So if we win tomorrow night,
we go up full 2 games. Yeah. How far back are the Bucks?
All right.
We're gonna be in the top 3. You know what I mean? The Sixers will not fall below 30.
The Bucks are going to go to 3 games.
Stay at home for a little while.
The Bucks with a win tonight will go to 3 games back.
Okay, with 7 to play.
Yeah, it would be a bit much. I don't know who holds the tiebreaker on that. But the Sixers are the tiebreaker with the Nets.
The only thing that's interesting is with being bunched up like this, all 3 of these teams have got to play their guys to win the 1 seed. You know what I mean? There isn't it's not like the Sixers are going to be able to rest Embiid other than probably in that back-to-back.
Well, what they'll do is they'll rest them like he did against so the whole reason that Spurs or that Bulls game got close was because the bench let it get close. I mean, Doc is really trying to rest these guys as much as possible, like within the game, right? Like, okay, They go up to this 20-point lead. It's like, okay, well, let's see how long the bench can stay on the floor and hold everyone off. And then it's like, oh shit, this is down to 5 points. We got to put Embiid in, and then Embiid's got to play in overtime, which is annoying. So, but I will say, do you know where else we are bunched up? In the penalty box. It's just weird without Sarah here to do penalty box. Gene, why don't you start us off? Who is in your penalty box today?
Yeah, I don't even know what penalties.
Well, we're gonna make them up. We'll collaborate on them, I guess.
I'm gonna put
what new rules in the MLB can we use as penalties?
You can take whatever rules you want. Most of the new rules suck.
Thanks.
What I'm putting in the penalty
Do you have
box,
a personal anecdote for us today?
No. Well, this is more of personal paranoia.
Okay.
I'm gonna put that very large rocket object that is hurtling towards Earth that China has put in orbit. So have you heard about this, guys? Have you heard about this? China put a rocket in orbit, but it's on its way back towards Earth. What?
It's not sports related.
No. Rarely are my
Oh, I haven't heard a thing.
So they don't know when this thing is going to impact on Earth, but they know it could fall anywhere between New York and New Zealand. And here's my problem. A whole lot of shit is between New York and New Zealand. The only place you're really safe is in China or Alaska. 70% of the Earth, it could fall and it could land. They don't know where. It's just this. It was originally 38 tons. It's been whittled down to 10-ton object that's just hurtling towards Earth that could at some point around May 10th land someplace where there are people living. And for that, I'm going to put...
So we've got 6 days.
6 days, yep. So for that, I'm going to put the object in the penalty box with the hopes that it'll slow it down long enough that we can recruit a crack team of miners or astronauts or minor astronauts who can go up there and put it someplace safe.
All right. So I think we really don't know the full extent of this infraction yet until this thing lands. So right now, I think I'm going to say 2 minutes for littering.
Yeah. All right, good. I'm with that. It's definitely going to litter.
2 minutes for littering.
Yeah. But it could go up to like a double minor for, killing thousands of people.
For like death and destruction.
Is that like the down, like on the spectrum?
That's the double minor, 2 for death, 2 for destruction.
Yeah. At most, you're killing a lot of people. At the very least, you're littering.
Right.
Okay.
Just make sure they don't do too many mound visits. Thank you.
Nico, who's on your mound today?
Oh, boo-hoo. Boo-hoo, LeBron James. Boo-hoo. I don't want to be in a playoff tournament. Boo-hoo. Oh, come on. You know what? If I have to hear him complain about this play-in tournament for one more second, okay? If the tables were turned and his team were in second or first place, he wouldn't be, it's a playoff tournament, play-in tournament. Gives everybody a chance. You know what I mean? He'd be quelling at the opportunity for other people to get in. But since his team, isn't doing so well, and that he's threatened with the idea of the play-in tournament, he thinks it's a dumb idea. So you know what, LeBron, count your millions, go cry to somebody else. You're in my penalty box. Boo-hoo, LeBron. Boo-hoo.
Jim, what kind of penalty do you think we're going to get to LeBron here?
What is it, like a 3-game tournament? I guess we could give him like 2 minutes and make him sit out the first game.
Like we would say, like
give him a mound visit. Give him a mound visit.
Oh my God. Okay. Well, in my
really
penalty box,
when you guys bring me on, doesn't it? It really
does. So in my penalty box, I'm going to put the Philadelphia Union in the penalty box for sending this email to fans sitting in certain select sections. Thank you for purchasing your tickets for tonight's game. Just a reminder, as you may have seen last season, the seats you have selected are covered up by virtual graphics on TV. Due to some changes in technology, in order to best see the graphics and the full game without interruptions, we ask that you do your best to wear dark colors to the game. If you are wearing a light colored t-shirt or jacket, it will directly affect the broadcast. So we would appreciate any assistance you could provide in this area.
So now they're telling us how to dress?
Don't tell me what to wear to a sporting event. Or if you're going to tell me what to wear, give me a giveaway t-shirt that you want me to wear.
Right.
I mean, look, I get it. Like, if you want this league to succeed, they're trying to find money any way they can. And, you should really do your best to try to support that endeavor, I'm assuming. But I don't know. This just puts a bad taste in my mouth. Like, how you can't really tell people what to wear to a sporting event, can you?
I mean, you can suggest, but I guess they do these things like whiteouts or whatever that they do like at Penn State. I don't know if that's like an agreed upon thing that we're all going to wear white, but that feels different. You know what I mean? That feels organic. This feels like we want our cool commercial to work. So make sure you wear your dark colored t-shirt.
And what if the game's on a Wednesday? Because Wednesdays we wear pink, right?
Well, yeah. I don't want to be wearing. I just don't want to be wearing like a dark shirt to an afternoon game in August.
Oh, you end up having
Nico never wears pink.
Nico, please give the Union a penalty so we can wrap this show.
All right, how about a couple more mound visits for the Union? A couple extra mound visits. A sweaty Gene.
All right. Well,
and you know what? 3 mound visits and 5 minutes sitting next to a sweaty Gene.
Okay. All right. That's a good one. All right. That's all the time we have for today. Thank you to our very special guest, Nick Algier, for joining us. If you haven't done so already, please remember to rate, review, and subscribe to the show on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. Also, check us out on social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Just search Podadelphia. If you have any more time in your podcast listening day, be sure to check out the Whip Around for all the week's weird news. And please, please, please check out the Painted Lines Network on YouTube and Twitter and Periscope and Twitch and all the other stuff for wall-to-wall Philly sports coverage. We'll be back next Tuesday night talking more Phillies, Sixers, Union, whatever else comes across the desk. So until we meet again, have a great day at work, everybody, because we are out of here.